What's up, guys? I'm going to go over three stocks that I'm watching. I'm going to show you the technicals I'm looking at on these three stocks. The three stocks I'm going to be looking at are the S&P 500, Work, and BA. I'm currently swinging Work and BA into next week, and I'm often watching the S&P 500 because I will often be making plays on it. So right now, this is the S&P 500. ES is the S&P 500 futures. I look at this one performing technical analysis on the S&P 500 rather than SPY, just because you will see ES, like if you look at the daily chart, it's a lot more clean. It has a lot less gaps to fill than if you're looking at SPY. Sort of just makes it easier to read and is more clean to look at, gives you a little bit of an edge over looking at SPY. So that's why I look at ES. So this is the 4-hour time chart for ES, or for the S&P 500. And yes, I know there are a lot of lines right here. I'm just going to break down some of the more important technical levels right now. I would say the two most important technical levels right now is this bigger trend line right here, this yellow thick trend line, and then this blue thick technical level right here. So as long as we are not below this big yellow trend line right here, I would say we're not longer term bearish, as long as we're not below it. So if we go below this longer term, this thick yellow trend line, I would say we're longer term bearish. As long as we're above this thick blue technical level, I would say we're longer term bullish. For in between, I would be neutral. I would say neutral throughout this time, throughout the beginning of April until mid to late May. I would say we're neutral. We were consolidating in between these two areas. Recently, we broke out of this big technical level, the 297, 298 level in SPY, and we came up, we retested it, and right now I'm saying, as of now, we're longer term bullish. That does not, however, mean that I don't think we will come back down in the future, which I think is possible if we test 31.20 around this area, 31.15. But as of now, we're trading in between these two trend lines right here, this top one and this bottom one. If we look back here, this top one came into play around mid-April, I believe. Yeah, April 16th. It acted as support, or as resistance, excuse me. It acted as resistance, dropped down from it. Again, came here. We had a fake breakout, and we dropped back down around late April. And again, on Thursday, it acted as resistance once again. So this trend line has been acting as resistance lately. And this other trend line that we're below has been acting as resistance from early April until May, and then once we broke above it, it flipped and is acting as support now. Right now we're trading in between these two. Right now what I see is we are trading in between these two, and I will take a play. Next week I'm looking for a possible break above this higher trend line, a break above, a breakout, a retest, and if we retest this trend line and reject it up and bounce off of it, I'll look to take a long position. I hardly play breakouts just because they are such low probability trades. If you'll notice, there's a lot of times that stocks will break out, just like right here, for example. This is a perfect example. We break out, it's a fake breakout, and we come back down. People who bought around here are trapped in the trade, and then they get stopped up for a loss. A lot of people I know, a lot of retail traders would chase this. Oh, we broke out. Okay, we're coming up. The momentum's on the side. The bulls are taking over. People are buying up. We broke out of this trend line. I'm buying, and then we come right back down, and they get stopped out for a loss. That's why I always wait for a breakout, a retest, and then another confirmation candle that we're able to hold this level. Then I'll look for an entry. So right now, I'm looking for, next week, I'm going to be looking for a breakout of this trend line, a possible breakout, a retest, and then a bounce off of this trend line. If we can do that, I'll look to get a bullish position, SPY calls, and I'll look to ride it out to whatever level. I see us next week, honestly, we can go as high as the 31.15 level on the ES, which is about 312 on SPY, but I don't think we're going to get past this. So that's going to be my ideal trade I'll be looking for. Of course, I will take other trades if we come back down to this lower trend line and we do reject off of it and come back up, I'll look for a bullish position. And a lot of times we have broken this trend line. If we do break through this trend line, I'm not going to look to take and retest it and then come reject it and come back down. I'm not going to look to take a bearish position with puts just because we have this larger demand zone around 3,000. This is an area where there's a ton of buy orders. You can see right here on Friday, everything just got bought up once it came around the 300 area on the SPY. So we have a larger demand zone. So if we do break through this trend line, even if we retest it, I'm not going to look to take a trade just because we have this level around 3,000. If we do break through 3,000 though and retest it, I would look to take a position, but it wouldn't be a like a high reward trade just because we have this level at 29.75 right below. It's not too many points, but it's still a trade that you can take. Like I said though, my main trade for next week going in, especially after Trump's press conference and saying that the phase 1 trade deal with China is still on, I'm a more bullish. I'm going to look for a breakup. This can be as early as Monday. If futures open green, we can open up above this trend line, and if we retest and bounce off, I'll look to take a bullish position with calls. So that's SPY right now. We can look at work. For me, the chart on work looks beautiful. This is an 8-hour chart. We broke out on the 28th. I believe this was Thursday. We broke out. I was waiting for a retest before getting in, just in case it was a fake breakout. I can show another great example of this. TLRY was another great example of a fake breakout. We broke out. A lot of people bought here. We broke out of this longer term technical level right here, and then we came right back down. That's why you always have to wait for a retest. We just consolidated, we broke out, and then we just came back down as a fake breakout, and a lot of people got trapped here. So that's why for work I was waiting for a retest, and that's what we had. We retested and then came up higher on Friday, and I got in at the beginning of the day, and the stock was up over 7% on the day. And I really do like this company longer term. I'm going to look to swing this longer term. They have earnings on the 4th, I believe. Yeah, they're reporting earnings on the 4th, and the technicals are just looking great. We broke out. We've been going up a lot. Any dip, I'm going to look to add more size to my position just because I like how this company is. I think we can see more room before earnings, and I'm even looking to hold some position after earnings as well. I think we can see around 37 to 38 before earnings, which is next Thursday. So I do think we could squeeze in another 2.5 points or so before earnings are released, which is over 5%. So we can go here. Also, the fundamentals on work, I did a little looking at them, and I'm not big into fundamentals, but this company has over a 57% revenue growth annually, and its 3-year average is 81% revenue growth, which is pretty good. They're growing at a fast rate, and they're not profitable yet. They're not a profitable company, but with the way they're growing, I mean, I don't know how long it will take, but I do like that their growth is good. They're a company that has benefited from the coronavirus, benefited from quarantine, so I don't know if they're going to do well in earnings, but in the longer term, I do think they're going to continue to perform well. So again, this is just a stock I'm swinging longer term. And now if we're looking at BA, I know a lot of people took this trade, or not a lot. I know a few people took this trade. If we look on the 5-minute chart, I usually trade on the 5-minute chart. So if we're looking at this, on Thursday, BA came down and it found some support over here. Orders came in, the stock got bought up, and then it came up around 142, 141, 140-ish. There's a lot of buy orders here, and this is when the stock reversed from coming down and went up. The next day, or this was actually Wednesday, I believe. Next day, Thursday, we came back down, and then on Friday we came down again to this to the support area. We tested these levels, and I realized we were in this intraday like bearish trend that was a downwards trend, and I was just waiting for a time we broke through, retested, and had confirmation, and I was looking to get into calls to swing over the weekend into next week. And this was basically the perfect entry because we eventually did break out on a candle. We did have a perfect retest. We came down. We have a nice lower wick that shows that bulls started to buy up. Traders started to buy up the stock once it got to this trend line. It pushed it back up a little bit. It closed, and then we had an engulfing green candle, which shows that bulls stepped in again. People were buying up the stock, and it closed up here. I entered the trade once the candle was around here, a little bit before it closed. We rode it up. VA had a big pop from about this area and went up as much as over 4 points in under an hour, which is kind of crazy, and then it came back down end of day. So I do know a few people took this trade in the SMD group, but those are the 3 stocks that I'm swinging right now. Those are my thoughts. So if you have any suggestions or if you have any questions, just let me know. I'm going to be looking again on BA. I'm going to be looking for around this area, this 154 to 158 area to sell. And let me show you this trend line. We do have this trend line right here on BA that we broke out of today, or on Friday, excuse me. This bullish trend line, upwards trend line, we broke down, and it actually acted as resistance. It was previously acting as support. Now it was acting as resistance on Friday. If I was looking at day trading this, I would have definitely sold once I saw we rejected this trend line. But since I'm swinging it, I was fine holding it. But I'm just going to keep in mind that we can again reject this trend line, and it can continue to act as resistance throughout the week. So around 152-ish on Monday, around 156-ish on Tuesday, but after that it would be out of my price target area anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. So those are the 3 stocks I'm looking at, I'm watching. If you guys have any questions, please let me know. Yeah.